Hi there, Bob here from Prohostcloud.com, and in today's video we are going to go over some of the plugins that I tend to use most often. And so if you're building your website, these are kind of the essentials. Just a reminder that at Prohostcloud.com we are right now for the first 50 people offering 50% off any gold or platinum packages for any 1, 2, or 3 year plans. And so you can get some incredible deals. Just go to prohostcloud.com. Now let's get on with the video. All right, so here we are at Prohost Cloud, and we are going to go to our login. So you just click in login, and once you're there, you log into your area, go to your account that you're going to go into control panels. And once you're in your control panel, scroll down. Well, you can launch your website from right here if you wanted, but I put it on a subdomain. This is from our last video. I left it up just so I could do this video. And go into your WordPress scripts, and once you're in your scripts, you can scroll down and pick the account. We did it on the demo.jriggerfitness.us. and bring up that account. Okay, once you're at this account, now we just went over how to import a starter template and went over some of the features of Elementor in our last video. But today I want to go over some of the plugins that I tend to use. So we're going to go back to the dashboard, and we are going to go down to plugins and installed plugins. All right, now Elementor, depending on which builder you're using, Elementor's the plugin we have going right now for the page builder. And Elementor's kind of an intuitive, easy. You don't really have to do much in the way of settings unless you're upgrading for Elementor. I tend to use Itheme security. I really like this program. We're going to go over that. If you're hosting with Prohost Cloud, you're going to want to add the plugin LiteSpeed Cache, because it works in conjunction with a program that's on our server, and it retrieves information much more quickly than just the standard SSD. We have our starter templates, and we're going to leave that up. That's up to you. If you're totally done building your website and you don't want to add any more pages, you can eliminate starter templates, but I'm just going to leave it up for now. And then WP forms. All right. As you can see, I have already have 5 plugins for my WordPress website in place. There are 2 that we are missing that I use regularly, so we're going to add them right now. To add a new plugin, all you do is you go to the top and you add new. Okay, and it brings up all the lists, and there's thousands of plugins. We're going to search it, and the first one we're going to do is called Rank Math. And we are going to install Rank Math. And once it's installed, we are going to activate it. The last plugin, hold on. The last plugin we're going to add is a program called Updraft. So we're going to just type in, we're going to add new. And where is Updraft? There it is, Updraft Plus. And we're going to install that. And as we're going through each plugin, I'm going to show you some settings that I typically use, and then we're going to activate this plugin. Okay, now we have generally unless there's something specific about the website that needs added, this is about generally what we go with, except maybe if the website's done, I would eliminate the starter templates. I'm going to leave that for now in case I need to do another tutorial or something in the near future. First of all, Elementor is the page builder that we used when we were uploading the starter template, and this particular Elementor plugin uploaded when we uploaded our starter template. Next is Itheme Security, LiteSpeed Cache, Rank Math, Starter Templates, Updraft Plus, and what this is a backup and restore system. And then finally, WP Forms Lite. And I'll show you, we'll go into that towards the end of the video, and we're just going to go down one by one. Okay, so we already, in our last video, when we launched our website, we used Elementor. There's really no settings that you have to adjust in there. So we're going to go down next to our Itheme Security. And this is an important one. Ithemes will keep bots and hackers from hacking your website. Not that you might keep a lot of information on your website, even customer information, but if they do, they can get into your files. They can get into stuff that they can basically mess up your website and make things a mess for you. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into Itheme's settings. All right, the first thing we're going to do is look at Itheme's security. So we're going to go into the systems in settings. And, all right, every business is different on how much security you need. But sometimes if you're dealing with personal information, such as a membership site, or if you're selling product and stuff, you want to keep people from getting in. Use that two-factor authentication. It increases, your overall security. Lockouts. Block specific IP addresses and user agents from accessing the site. Okay, you want that. Protect your site against brute force attackers, both local network and a network for brute force. Site checks. Monitor the sites for unexpected file changes. Yeah, you could do that if you want. Enable that, and what will happen is if there, every time there's an upload, like let's say Rank Math or Elementor, they have an update, the iThemes will let you know that you've had an update. I get these all the time, but so it depends on, if you want to get emails all the time for every little upchange. Now, the thinking I'm sure behind that is if there's any file disruptions, you're going to want to know about them because maybe somebody's messing with your website. And then finally, site scan scheduling. Protect your site with automated site scans, which when this feature is enabled, this site will automatically scan twice a day. And if a problem is found, an email will be sent. You can enable that if you choose to. Finally, utilities. Enforce SSL. Your SSL is gonna work, so I wouldn't even worry about that one. If you want a database backup emailed to you regularly, then enable this one. I think it's automatically enabled when you load the Itheme security on. It's one of those standard features. If you don't want backups, or if you're going to back up the site yourself, then you don't have to worry about that one. And Security Check Pro detects the correct way to identify user's IP, and you want that in place. Next, user and groups. All right, so global settings allow users to manage iThemes. Okay, you want that checked. Security and dashboard. Well, that depends on who your users are, I guess. If it's somebody helping you build the website, then you definitely want to keep that checked. If you have subscribers, you definitely do not want subscribers being able to mess with your iTheme security. You want a dashboard, so enable that, and you want a strong password. A strong password. Now, if you have a membership site like I do, that you want your members, sometimes they forget their logins and things like that, and you want to give them some attempts to figure it out. Do not, if the only ones logging into your website is you to make updates and changes and fix things, and you're working out of the back end and things like that, then you may want to check this. But if you have members to your websites, especially a subscription website, or if anybody can log into your website, you may want to leave this unchecked, because they won't be able to get in if iThemes feels their password is compromised. Okay. Next, we're going to go down to configure. All right. All right, so lockouts. This is what I really like. The length of time the host or user will be locked out from the site after hitting the limited of bad logins. And then you set the ban threshold right here down to 3. Okay, if they hit three attempts and they can't log in, it will ban them from trying again from that IP address for 7 days. Actually, I think it bans that particular administrator. So if you have, like, let's say you're a 3-man team running a website, and and one of your partners forgets their credentials and they won't let them back in for like 7 days. They won't let them try again. Lockout message is pretty standard. All right, now here, let me get rid of this. Okay, whenever an administrator uses access the website, Itheme will prevent locking them out for up to prevent locking that computer for 24 hours. All right, so if you want add my current IP, so if you're working out of your house or out of your office, you have an IP address to that place, you're going to want to hit that. All right. That only this IP address will then be allowed to attempt as many logins within that 24-hour period as you want. It won't ban that IP address. All right. Next, we're going to go down to logging. I think, I guess it's personal preference. You could do the database, you could do file only, or you could do both. I just do the database, and then days to keep database logs is 60 days. You don't want that information to get too big, too out of control. You don't want. So we automatically detected my IP address, and then hide security menu in admin bar. So up here you see there's a security menu. If you click that will go away. Now this is just basically a shortcut so you can get to your Itheme security quicker. You want to save those changes and then move on to the next page. All right, so next we're going to go from global settings to lockouts, and you can do custom bans, which means you can ban specific IPs, I think this thing will let you do countries as well. As a getting started point, you can include hackrepair.com ban list developed by Jim Walker. Yeah, I think we're going to include that. And then site check. This is what it keeps. You can check your logs, any file changes. If you want to exclude anything, you can included over in your excluded file. And then finally, utilities. Schedule database backups. Backup interval, we'll just do 2. Nope, we'll do 2. And it'll keep these right in your database for you, these backups. Backup tables. All right, everything looks good. We're going to continue to save that. Go to notifications. Security digest. Site lockout. Notification. Database backup. That's all set. Admin at Prohostcloud.com. Okay, here's an important one that I like. It's hiding the back end. So if you go into advanced, and then it goes from system tweaks to WordPress tweaks to hide back end. As you can see, normally when you're trying to log into your WordPress website, the login slug is WP-admin, and that's standard. And so that's known by every hacker in the world. You can change your login slug by right here putting a different login. Now let's say I have a hamburger, I'm a hamburger restaurant, and I have a burgers page and I have whatever going on. I can name one of my slugs like Great Burgers or Great Burger or what have not, and watch what happens. So normally this would be the login. It'd be wp-admin. Now, normally this would be your login page, but what would happen when you have that slug in there? This page doesn't seem to exist. Oh no, can't log in. So we're going to go back, and now watch what happens when you do www.jriegerfitness.us/ I think it was Great Burger. I think this is really so here's your login. I think this is really key to keeping your website safe. If hackers don't know which page is your login page, you have to actually index your website, find every page that's not shown, and figure out. And so it makes it much harder for them to hack. We're gonna get rid of this. Nope. Okay, so let's scroll down. Redirected, enable redirection to not found, and then custom actions. I don't usually do anything with that particular setting, but I think that's between that and the lockouts, I think your website is pretty secure. Going to tools, you can see all the different tools. All right, and that's about it for iThemes. It's really it can be tailored to your website and how secure you need it. But I think a couple of features, like I said, like the redirect on the login page, along with the bans for too many attempts, keeps your WordPress website pretty secure. All right, so we're back at our dashboard plugins, and we are going to go next into the LiteSpeed cache. And we're going to go into settings. I've not set this at all yet, so it's, whatever the default settings are when it comes. But here's the cache settings, and if for those of you who don't know what cache is, basically it enables your website to load faster because it kind of allows your browser or your interface to have partial pieces of your website to upload. That's the easiest way to explain it, so that it's already there. It's got lazy loading for pics and things like that. So you see the top part, but the bottom part is loading as it's scrolling up. That way, it doesn't require as long to load the page, and it doesn't require as many resources to load that page. All right, so anyways, we're under the cache, and yes, we are going to enable the cache. And these are, I did not touch this at all. I don't think I did. Yeah. We tested this website out of the box, and it was already pretty fast. We did not adjust, even though we had the LiteSpeed cache on there, we did not adjust any of these. But if you notice on the first page, we cached login users, cache commenters, cache REST API, cache login page, cache favicon. So they recommend out of the box that all those are. Now, cache mobile is kind of tricky because it will edit your HTA access file, first of all. And it will regenerate crawler lists. I typically do not enable this. Usually it's fast enough, even on my mobile device. My websites are usually pretty quick at loading, usually less than 2 seconds. And as we're going, you might want to avoid a couple that'll use a lot of resources on your server, because that'll slow down your website as well. You don't want to use too many resources on your website. But here's a list. If you do enable this, and here's a list of mobile user agents, and you can whatever kind you can highlight and whatever, add them on to your default value. These are all on my default value. They do that automatically. Private cached URLs. So if you want a URL that's pre-cached, you got to load that, like www or HTTPS and what have not, and whatever, and they tell you all about that there. I really don't use that. I don't use this, and I don't use that. I pretty much go with the default settings on the first page. On one of my sites, I did enable this, and what was happening, I don't know if it was this page or later, it was causing my my iPad to load funny with the website, so I turned it off. This is telling how long to keep the cache this page. These are in seconds. They're 604, 800, 600, and 4,000, or 4,800 seconds in 1 week. So they're telling like your mobile users to it will not clear the cache for that long. Private cache, and it just gives the and that's important for to get ranked. Not to get, well, yeah, to get ranked as well. But if you don't have this setting on and these settings set, then it will hurt your rankings overall. But it will also, when you go to an optimization test, it's going to tell you to add those default values in. So those are already set for us. We're going to go to purge. It's on. We're going to go to exclude. If you want any caches excluded, any of your pages or cookies or whatever, if you want them excluded, you got to put those in here. ESI. This is to turn on cache for public pages for logged in users. I normally don't. I do have a membership site I use this program on, and I don't. For my members, it's hard to explain, but I don't want to use too many resources from my server. I do not cache people who are already logged into my membership site, and this is why. After they're logged in, they go to a video. Usually, they go to a video page. They don't. I do have a blog there with about 15 to 20 articles, only for my members. But once they're logged in, they go to the video page, and once the video is up and running, that video is coming from a different server. It's not coming from my membership site. They don't know that. People don't know that I have a separate video site somewhere else, and it just runs through my site. But it basically redirects you to the video site, and you see the video through the player that WordPress offers, but it's not stored or using any resources on my site. So once they get the videos going, it's a fitness membership site. My wife does fitness, and she does a lot of Zumba classes, Zumba toning, and body sculpting, and they have core conditioning and things like that. And so there's like 8 different categories. They absolutely, positively, I refuse to. They don't really need it, because once they're there and already into the into the video plays from a different site. They really don't. They're not moving around a lot. They really don't need to be cached. But anyways, moving on. I know that's a long explanation for nothing. Moving object cache. Now this one, I do turn this on. And you can use now. In a previous video, I showed you how to enable Memcache and Redis, and this is why. You need either or. I like Redis. Some people like Memcache. I use Redis because it seems to be just a hair faster when testing the websites on Redis than it does Memcache. But okay, and then let me see anything else. That's it. So we're going to save those changes and move on to our browser. And having browser cache on is important. It allows browsers to interact more quickly, helps downloading. Then we're going to save those changes. And in advanced, you don't need to worry about. Well, you might, if your URL, if you're using HTTP and HTTPS, you use them both so people can get to your website. Typically, you're going to have an SSL, and it's to use the SSL and enforce that lock, you're going to need HTTPS. But in some cases, some people do use HTTP. One of my websites is doing it right now. It's using both. So you might need to check this on. You just need to check to see if you're using both HTTP and HTTPS. Once you do that, you just click the changes. All right, so so that's the caching portion of LiteSpeed. But if you go down, you can add a CDN. We do not offer a CDN through Prohostcloud. I do personally recommend Bunny CDN, and that's all I use. It's fairly reasonable. I mean, it's like 7 cents a gig or 8 cents a gig. What a CDN is, it's a content delivery network, and what that does is it stores part of your website on servers around the globe. So if people are, or even in the United States, different servers, and if people, it will draw the close. If people are checking out, let's say my JRigger Fitness, well, it's going to find the server that's closest to that person and load it so much quicker than if it's coming straight from your website. So it basically starts the process for you, and then you kind of integrate your computer into that, and basically the delivery will be so much faster if you're using a CDN. Now, a lot of people like, I think it's Cloudflare, and that's what's integrated here, Cloudflare. And if you like that and you want to use it, that's fine. But Cloudflare, they have a free plan, and then a $20 plan if you really want to upgrade and what have not. And I rather just go with Bunny CDN because they only charge you for what you use. It's not $20 a month. And my sites have gotten so much faster since. But if you were going to use anything other than Cloudflare, you would just turn on CDN mapping, put your CDN URL in here, and you would get that from whatever CDN you're using. Like I said, if you can, if you're looking for a cheap, quick CDN solution, I would say Bunny CDN. Anyways, and it's bunnycdn it's bunny.net, I believe. Here, let's just look it up real quick to show you. BUNNY CDN, and it's bunnycdn.net. Yeah, .net. I'm telling you, I'm very impressed with bunny.net, bunny CDN, and it is really reliable. I'm not going to log into my Bunny account right now. All right. Anyways, so they will give you a URL to paste in here once you create an account and you add your information into the Bunny CDN. They'll give you a URL to type in there, and it's got to be in this format here. See how they have it laid out? It's got the HTTPS : // and then you put your CDN in front of your name. They will give you all that at Bunny CDN once you generate your account, and then you just the jriggerfitness.us will be after, and then whatever information they give you at Bunny CDN will go there, and boom, you're in business. All right, and then once you're done, you would save all the changes. We are now going to go from CDN down to image optimization. Yes, this program will help you optimize pictures. So, you can gather image data, and they're going to tell you what could be optimized. If you don't want to keep a lot on your server, you can, 26 groups, zero images as of right now need to be optimized because they were already optimized for us before. But there's, sometimes you go get a pic or from a website or something, even a free download, and it'll be way too big and take forever to load. You want to, minimize your optimize your pics as much as possible. There's also another way to do it. Let's go see that. All right, so I want to take you right now to TinyJPEG. And TinyJPEG will optimize. No, I didn't want that one. All right. There it is. All right, so you're going to go into TinyJPEG, and all you do is to optimize a picture before you upload it to your website is just go in here, and it's on your computer. You can take any picture you want. Let's take a picture. These are like my employees for my fitness business. We got multiple pics of them. Let's just steal this one here, and it's compressed and it's finished, and we saved 48%, and we took it from obviously over 100 kilobytes down to 76 kilobytes. And that's all you do. And then all you have to do is download it, and it goes to your download folder. So TinyJPEG is an awesome tool. But the thing is you're only allowed 20 maximum images at a time. and the largest they can be is 5 megabytes. If they're over 5 megabytes, you might as well forget it and not use that image, because this will not work. I've tried it. Even at 5.2 megabytes, it will not. It's just programmed to downsize below 5 megabytes and below. All right. So that's tiny JPEG. That's how you can, even before you get to the point of image optimization on LiteSpeed, you could just, I highly recommend that you get it done before you upload, because there's so much to do when you're building a website. You tend to forget stuff, and you forget 3 or 4 or 5 pictures, and all of a sudden your site's really, really slow because you're uploading too much data. And the last thing you really need to know about, well, if you go down a database real quick before we go to page optimization, this, you can clean out post revisions, auto drafts, transients, so forth. All you have to do is click. It says we got 128. We're going to clean all, and this will clean your database out, and that way, you don't have old informations and so forth and so on. And all transients, we still have 20 of them left. You could clean them out if you wanted. So the last thing we want to talk about is page optimization. This is where you have to be careful. First time I used this program, I went through and I just optimized everything. Then it was working great on my laptop size. I go to use my computer and it wouldn't load certain images. It wouldn't load certain things. So I highly recommend, after you optimize your website, especially with this LiteSpeed Cache program, that you go back and you check with the tablet, not just the tablet form on WordPress, because it'll show it working there. But then you go to an actual tablet, it doesn't work, or you go to an actual cell phone and it won't work. So I would highly recommend, before you launch your website, that you maximize your LiteSpeed cache as best you can, especially with page optimization. But if you need to turn some of this off to get it working properly, remember, 60% of all viewers of your website are gonna be on mobile devices. So you need to make sure they can see what you're trying to get them to see, and it loads the way you want it to load. All right, so anyways, you go to, the first setting is CSS. And I like to minify my CSS. I like to combine it. This one I always ignore because you need a domain key for that. Inline. Combine external and inline. Sure, it's already marked for us. Load CSS asynchronously. That means it loads at the same time. We're going to turn that on. Cost per URL. We are not going to check that. And font optimization, we are going to leave that alone at default. So that's the CSS settings. Now we're going to go into the JS settings. And you're going to minify JS settings, combine them. Just be careful with this, and remember this JS combine. Sometimes it'll mess around with your front end and the plugins that you're using. So if it does that, you're going to have to turn it off, okay? But I turned mine on my on multiple websites, and it really hadn't messed with them too much. Combine external and internal inline, sure, and then load JS defer. Yeah, we're gonna hit delete on that. Remember these two settings, the ones with the little red warning signs there, because if your front end's not loading properly on any device, those are the ones you want to take a look at. HTML settings, this is where you can combine. You're going to minify, remove string queries, but if you have were captured by Google, to make sure it's not a bot and a person, it will ignore that. Load Google Fonts asynchronously. Remove Google Fonts. You can do that. If you remove Google Fonts, you can just leave that off. Remove emojis. You do not want emojis on your website or any animation on your website. It takes up a lot. It makes things load really slowly. You know, I hate to say it, but you gotta, if you want your pages to load fast, you gotta kind of be a plain Jane about it. You can make a nice looking website and not have to, you know, not have a lot of moving parts to it. Remove non-script tags. I can't remember. Yeah, you turn that on. And save. We're going to go to media settings. Lazy load images, and this one I feel is important. Sometimes a page won't load until the whole page loads. If you have lazy load on, as the pics are coming up, it'll load the page for you. So if a person's scrolling down, the image might not be all the way loaded, but it'll load the top half, and as they're scrolling up, it'll load the rest. Okay. Yeah, it'll really definitely quicken up. Responsive placeholder, we want that on. Cloud generator, no, or we'll leave that off. Okay, is there anything else here? Lazy load iframes. This is one, and missing sizes, yes. I click them on, but I've had to pull them off because I think these are the ones that I can't remember exactly. It was either these settings or the settings on the other page we already did that was messing with my mobile devices, and it wasn't allowing the website to load correctly on the mobile devices. So, you know, if it's doing that, you might have to come back. So that's under media settings. You might have to, or I think it was HTML. No, it was under JS. So under JS or media settings. Media exclude. Now, if you wanted some lazy load images or some images to be excluded, you'd have to copy and paste them right into here, just the URLs to them. That way, it would exclude them and not lazy load them. But I highly recommend lazy load. It just makes your website so much faster. Localization, Gravatar cache. I believe we turn this on. I don't have my settings board in front of me. Graviton Cron, and like I said, you can, if any, you know, if you brought up a separate window with your website, okay, and then you had your cell phone going and your other phone or your iPad or whatever tablet going. If you had those three devices, you could go in one by one and just turn off and on things to see how it affects it. And you know, once you hit the right, I've found in the past that I've had to turn this off and turn this off. Not on all my websites, but on some of them. Okay. Localized resource, no. Do not check this, as it will thoroughly test all items. Might slow you down just a little bit. And localized file with popular scripts. Okay, so yeah, like Twitter platform, Facebook platform. If you have Instagram, you might want to slap that in there, and then you're going to save changes. And basically, we are now set. So our LiteSpeed is set. And we are going to visit our website. All right, and I'm going to copy and paste this, Control copy, and we are going to bring up just for the heck of it, I want to take a quick look at GT metrics speed test. We were testing this yesterday. I want to see where it's at today. Control V, and we are going to get rid of all this and put in www. Whoops, one too many W's. Hold on. And here we go. We're going to test this. Yesterday on this website, I think we were at like 1.7 or 1 when we were building a website. That was straight out of the box. And anything less than 2, I wouldn't mess too much with your website. But to get the quickest results, to get speed connections, analyze, it is now analyzing with Lighthouse. To get any of that, you want to make sure you optimize the best you can. Woo! Look at that! Holy cow! We're at an A. Our performance is an A. Our structure is an A, and the load time was under a second. So, coupled with what we did yesterday, putting in the code. Putting in the code that we did, and today adjusting our LiteSpeed cache, boy, that really improved. So we are gonna leave this, and we are gonna leave this. All right, so we're gonna go back into our website, and let me see what installed plugins do we still need to look at. All right, we did LiteSpeed. Oh, rank math. I think, you know what, this video is already going long enough. So today's video is basically on Elementor. Well, I'm sorry, Ithemes and LiteSpeed. The next time we're going to do another video, which is going to include rank math and updraft. Starter template was already covered in a previous videos, and maybe we'll do rank math, updraft. Those, just like today, they require some settings, and it might take a little while. So the next video we're going to do rank math, we're going to do updraft and WP forms light. But basically, though, all of these you could go in to yourself. You know what? Yeah, you could go through the setup wizard and rank math in a heartbeat. You already know the starter template from our Elementor video. Updraft. You go in and do the settings, and then the WP. Yeah, we'll make that a whole separate video. This video already went fairly long, so hold on a second while I shift over. Well, that's going to be it for today's video. It already went pretty long for just going over. I like to talk, I can ramble, I guess. It went pretty long for just covering 2 plugins. So tomorrow, but those are basically the plugins that I like to use when I'm building a website. And I just want to say one more thing about plugins before anything else, is that be careful on how many plugins you actually use. If you're not utilizing a plugin, then get rid of it. Plugins are basically code, and they can weigh down your website. If I recommend no more than 10. Some people say 10 to 12. Do not have more than 10 to 12 plugins if you expect your website to run and function quickly. The less is sometimes more when you're talking about plugins. 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 or 7 at the most is all I recommend personally. You go start to get, once you get up to 10, 11, 12, you're kind of pushing the limits. Anything over 12, you're going to slow down your website for sure. But remember, plugins are basically code, and it's telling your website what to do. And the more code and more things you add in, the more requests, HTTP requests you're going to get. The more requests you're going to get, the longer it's going to take to load a page. And remember, you don't want a page that loads in 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds. You want those pages to be under 2 seconds, 1.5 seconds. And remember to like and subscribe this video, and help spread the word about Prohostcloud and the amazing services that we offer. If anybody is interested in reliable, high-speed, affordable web hosting, then just go to www.prohostcloud.com. Thank you so much, and have a great day.